Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm Charlie Eisenhood. It is Tuesday, February 17th. I'm joined, as always, by Josh Mansfield, and it's a special day because we are joined once again by the one and only Dan Prentice for the 2026 preseason draft show. It's here. Dan, welcome to the program. How are you?
Doing great, Charlie. I look forward to this every year. I've been looking forward to it for weeks. I'm pumped. I'm ready.
You know what's...
Charlie,
go ahead, Josh.
I thought we agreed that we were going to get somebody else after Dan kicked our butt last season.
Listen, I wanted to have him back because I wanted him to have a terrible day today when he gets to the end of this draft and realizes it's all gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, because that's how it goes.
And that he will not be returning.
Love that spirit.
Hey, I'm just trying to be like the Canadian curlers, you know? Just trying to keep it trying to keep it 100 over here.
Man. Canada, I mean, I'm not Canadian, obviously. Canada must be ashamed of that guy, right? Like, Canada's whole vibe is like, we're the friendly country who's nice to everybody.
Listen, if you dip into ultimate frisbee at all, this is not unexpected behavior.
Yeah, maybe fair. Less of a international stage, though, I would say, in fairness.
Yeah, such a
little bit.
Gosh, you know, and somebody emailed us about the curling thing because it's like they have spirit of the game, basically.
Oh, really?
It's a self-officiated game.
Yeah,
and
I'm so excited to talk about that.
Well, you bring it up.
Okay, because
it's topical right now, so let's get it out of the way.
Well, they talk also about how I was reading a couple articles about it and the insistence that there is no video replay, which, again, compared to something like foot faults, is very difficult to call in real time. And then the other part that was interesting is that, like, officials have actually started to be more rigorous in light of the controversy. And so it is a spirit of the game kind of thing, but they also have more teeth to their enforcement and used it immediately after it became apparent that, like, multiple teams were doing this, because Great Britain got called for it a couple days later
for the same thing, like poking the rock,
for touching the rock. Yeah, and they pulled the stone.
Here's my question, though. It doesn't seem like it's actually like creating a benefit.
I would say the same thing about the foot faults where you bump the disc.
A fair point. But what I'm saying is, like, they have this big motion, and then you're telling me that this little tiny little baby tap is the thing that, like, determines whether the shot is good or not. I feel like it's some sort of more like a tick, like, you know, you just something that you're doing, which I think is probably why the Canadian guy got so heated about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a curler. But let me bring
we need our curler experts.
Let me bring the email up because Brian sent in a great email, you know, bunch of information. So curling is primarily a self-officiated sport rooted in the spirit of curling, where players are expected to call their own fouls, uphold etiquette, and manage rules themselves. While officials are present at high-level events like the Olympics, for measurements and timekeeping, they rarely interfere, relying on player honesty. So you see the officials come out with their, like, protractor, you know, thing and measure the rock sometimes.
Sure.
But, you know, there has been rule breaking happening, and there was an official standing over by what's called the hog line for some reason, where they're not allowed to touch the rock after that point, but they didn't do anything. So the question that Brian has is, does disc golf need to remain at the highest level, a primarily self-regulated sport, or do we need to see more officials being in control and players being in less control? And what is, like, the correct line at the high level? I mean, I don't know that this curling incident will change anyone's mind about this. But, like, obviously disc golf has kind of been going through the same thing about, like, how do we get players to enforce the rules? And, like, the idea is that this season they're going to start enforcing the time rules because of this new time extensions
timeout thing
option on the Pro Tour. Will it work? I don't know. In my opinion, just since maybe we're all thinking about it, I feel like golf already has been having essentially self-governed game for a long time with officials who are there to make rulings on controversies and things like that, which is basically what the Pro Tour is now doing, which to me is the correct model.
Yeah. I don't know, curling. it feels weird because curling is in the Olympics, but like, does curling have as big of a following as pro disc golf does?
Surely not.
I wouldn't think so. And I know this situation was particularly weird because, like, I mean, I didn't do a deep dive on it, but the rules aren't previously weren't super clear on whether it was even legal or not. Because it says like one of the wordings is like the stone must be delivered by the handle, but then it seems like it was pretty commonplace for people to touch it. And what really made it a faux pas for the Canadians was that it was like, as it was touching that line just barely. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it does very much feel like what was the spirit of that rule? Was it just kind of, poorly worded and hasn't really been a big deal for a long time at that level of competition? For me, the disc golf rules really only are important like if someone's blatantly cheating and for pace of play. That is really the only reason that I think you need to get nitty gritty with any of the rules in disc golf, really. So yeah, again, it seems like, when you get extreme cases like we had last year with Kristen, then that is maybe when people can weigh in. But yeah, I don't think we want it to be overly governed by, ticky-tack stuff all the time.
Let me note that I probably need to take it back. I think it's probably the case that just even because of Canada alone, curling is more popular than disc golf. Wow. At least from a viewership standpoint. This is from a couple years ago, but their big curling event was outdrawing like NBA games and hockey games.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Briar Prime, 426,000 viewers. Raptors Cavs, 279,000 viewers.
Wow.
This is from a couple years ago. So, I don't really know what to make of that. The
Charlie,
Google
those
says
Canadians are about to come for you.
I know. Google says that 2.2 million viewers watched the Everest North American Curling Club Championship last year in the U.S. So
in the U.S.
apparently, but like, what does that mean? Reaching 2.2 million viewers, right? Because I'll tell you what, I watch curling once every 4 years, and it's during the Olympics, and then I never think about it again. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. I also
that has to be the vast majority of people's experience.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
I looked up. There is a intro to curling night that you can pay for. They'll teach you how to do it. They'll give you everything you need, and you can go curl for 2 hours in Park City in Utah.
I mean, you should definitely do that.
That sounds like a great date night.
I feel like
just me and Megan going curling for a night. It sounds like a blast.
I feel like everybody thinks, they're like, curling, like I could do that. I could be in the Olympics. But I feel like you get out there and you're like, oh wow, I'm so trash.
Yeah, no.
I bet it's so hard.
Yeah, it seems it's such a precision sport too. It seems like. Yeah, there's no way. I'm shocked that many people are watching it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. Draft 2026. We're going to pick. Let me just lay down the basics here. We're going to pick 10 players each. 6 from MPO, 4 from FPO. Same as last year. The scoring is as follows. We are making a slight change this year, which I will get to. Most of the scoring will remain the same. You get 4 points for a win. You get 2 points for a second or third place finish, aka a podium finish. You get 1 point. Here's a change from last year. Last year was top 10. This year it'll be 1 point for an MPO top 12, 1 point for an FPO top 8. So we're just kind of balancing the divisions a little bit relative to their baseline depth and strength. You get 0 points anywhere outside of those numbers, all the way down to the cash line. And you get -1 for missing cash. Okay, that is also a change from last year, where our -1 cutoff was the Pro Tour Championship size, so 32 MPO, 20 FPO. This is going to drop that negative point down a little bit further, which feels a little more fair and also scales by the size of an event, which is more fair, right? I mean, there were definitely times last year where you got -1 while your player cashed, which just doesn't make sense. So that is the basics. Majors are worth double points. We do not make a distinction about playoffs or other things. So does that all sound good to you guys?
Yeah, I think that's
Sounds great.
right. We did, as a note, include Throw Pink as a doubling major.
As we should.
Of course, as we should. Yes. Just for all the folks listening who might wonder.
Yeah. We will have a waiver wire show where we each get to drop one player from each division if we so choose and pick up somebody else. All of the points that the player earned for you previous to that point remain on your ledger, and you only get the points moving forward from the player that you pick up if you so choose.
One clarification that we had been chatting about that I think we should institute is a catastrophic injury, an IR substitution. If prior to the waiver wire somebody is injured for, does it have to be entire season, or can we say?
I think we can make a call about whether to allow a waiver drop situation. I think if somebody gets a hamstring and it's going to have them out 6 to 8 weeks, I feel like that's just too bad. But if they tear their ACL or they break their ankle or something that might be months or potentially, any sort of season-ending injury like a, disaster ACL or something like that, I think it would be totally reasonable to allow a drop. But I think we have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, all right, that's good with me.
But, spirit of curling will govern.
Great.
I'm going to go stealth edit the sheet to pick up the good player.
Chuck Wood. He's destined for a win after last year.
Yeah, I know. I think I finished in last despite having Gannon, which is just really...
last by a wide margin.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
Very
Thanks,
much.
great. Thank you. Yeah, I just got absolutely nothing from MPO outside of Gannon. It was brutal. It was really brutal. Yeah. Okay, so
question on the draft.
Yes.
Last year we did we did like 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3.
We didn't do full snake, right?
We did like that.
Yeah,
the Dan's modification.
I like that.
I like it too. Okay.
I think it balances the top heaviness of the sport a little bit more,
especially given
because otherwise player 3 really in a tough spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like this way they get the 3rd and 4th picks and then the 7th pick versus the 3rd, 4th, and then the 9th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels more fair, especially given that the first pick is obviously super, super valuable, and I think arguably the 2nd pick is as well. Relative to the 3rd.
Okay.
But, you guys can blunder if you have the 1st or 2nd pick, so I'm not going to say more than that.
Oh, hey, of the people that can blunder and have blundered.
Noting last year's results, Dan with 166 points beats Josh 160 points. Dan held on despite losing Kristen at the, 2/3 mark of the season. Very strong performances from Holland Hanley, Kristen, Ella Hansen did really well, Isaac Robinson, Nicholas Antela, and Calvin Heimberg. So all the top picks for Dan coming through big. Josh almost caught up. Missy Gannon and Silva Saarinen were doing some heavy lifting, and Josh had a late Paul Macbeth snipe
surge
that will not happen this year. He's not going to go that far down the board, and he got 24 points from his 5th MPO pick. That is pretty epic. Dan got 4 from Simon, and I got -6 from Corey Ellis. So it gives you a sense of that. But so, are we ready to begin?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Let me share my screen, so we can all see the wheel together. Here's the wheel.
Shenanigans going
you guys
on.
see the wheel? See the wheel?
See the wheel.
All right, here we go. You can see Dan, Josh, and Charlie in the spinner. Wheelofnames.com. Here we go. This is for the first pick, to be clear. Unless I don't win, in which case it's for the last pick. Here we go. Picking first.
Oh, yes. Josh.
Will be Josh. All right. We take Josh out of the board. We spin again. Second pick will go to... Oh, my God. Dan will get the 2nd overall pick. I will pick 3rd. But hey, I picked first last year and it didn't go well. So, and I think Dan, you picked 3rd, right?
No, I
had second pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I had second pick last year. So I'm in the same spot.
That is it.
I actually, with our reversal, I would rather have third or first. Like, I feel like second's actually the harder draft position.
I think more so this year than last year. Second is a worse spot to be. I was hoping for first or third this year.
Yeah, I was too.
The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport, and more new stuff out from Pound. Vagabond pre-orders are live. Some colorways available now: a black bag, a gray bag with turquoise trim, a brown with sage. Remember, the Vagabond is their smaller shoulder carry bag. It's a great bag. I actually gifted one to my brother for Christmas. If you just want to go out or have like a practice bag or have a bag for quick rounds, still plenty of pocket space to put some water and snacks, and plenty of disc capacity for a more casual day. Check it out, pounddiscgolf.com, and pre-order your Vagabond today. All right, folks, let's get right into it. Josh, you're on the board.
With the
Where could he be going here,
with the first overall draft pick of the 2026 draft, Team Mansfield is going to select Gannon Buhr. Gannon was the top performer out of both divisions. I don't know if that would have been the case had Kristen continued to play. But even after Kristen left and other FPO players should have gotten the boost, I mean, Gannon outscored Silva Saarinen by 8 points, outscored Missy Gannon by 11 points, Holland Hanley by 13 points. I think it is the only completely obvious pick of the draft, and that's why I feel like Dan is in the harder place, because I don't know where you go for two, and because it feels like a lot more equity right below Gannon, but he clearly stands above, barring anything weird. Yeah, I'm pleased.
Yeah, I don't think there was much mystery in this pick. It feels like Gannon honestly could score even higher this year. I mean, what is going to stop him from just having another massive season? You never know, but it's an easy pick. It's rare, honestly, in sport to feel so confident in the number one fantasy pick, but it's like definitely Gannon. It's not really close, I don't think.
I'm interested to hear where Dan goes now. Like, this is what
I have a think. I believe there's an obvious pick, but we'll see if Dan goes there.
Ooh, interesting.
Maybe not obvious, but
yeah. So for me, there's just a tier. Gannon was in a tier by himself, cleared number one pick, and then from here it's kind of like which tiers and which divisions do you value the most? Mm-hmm. This is exactly why I was not wanting the second pick, because picking the first in a tier is just not good for fantasy. You want to be in the last pick of a tier. I am going to go... I'm between two players here. I think I'm going to go with the one that I think is more likely to just have a super dominant season, a la what we've seen from Kristen, even though I don't think it is likely. But I'm going to take Holland Handley and hope that she is the best FPO player this year.
This is the pick that I think makes the most sense. I mean, you had a little patch of time last year where Holland was kind of floundering, but besides that, she was super dominant. I mean, looking at the beginning of her season, 2 points, 2 points, 4 points, 2 points, 4 points, 2 points, 1 0 4 0 1 2 2. Like, she's scoring every week. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, she did have that patch. I think she took a -1, she took a couple zeros, but then she gets right back on the horse and goes 2-1-2-0-4, closing out with a Pro Tour Championship win.
Yeah, really what I need from Holland to deserve.
I know
this
what you're
top
going to
pick.
say.
Oh,
no, go.
She has to do better at the majors.
Yep, there it is.
Has to be better at majors. I need those double points. So come on, Holland.
There's
no
major win
for her not to this year.
A major win bumps her right up there.
But my point is that Holland is the most likely player to be the dominant force in FPO this year.
Yeah,
I think it's like
a ceiling.
I mean, if nothing else, like Silva, for instance, is not signed up for anything until Champions Cup. and like missing 5 events, it's not a death knell, especially when you're a lock top tenor like Silva is. Like she's going to score you points basically every week. But it's just, that's a lot. That's a lot of points to be left on the table that it's hard to make up when you have a player who's like equally skilled on the board. So now I have to decide what to do. Yikes. This kind of makes and breaks the draft probably. There's a couple of potential strategies here. So I'm going to pick again at 7.
It's tough not having the first pick, right, Charlie?
Yeah, it's nice to not have to really think about it. The highest scoring available points from last year were both FPO. And I think there's a very good case for me to pick both Silva and Missy. But obviously, that leaves me a little exposed to a run out there where I don't get another strong MPO. But at the end of the day, Josh is going to be forced to pick an FPO player because he's going to get too cooked in FPO if he doesn't. So what am I really worried about? And it is equally possible to me that Missy or Silva is the best FPO player this year. I mean, Silva could do it despite missing a chunk of the season. So I'm going to do the right thing and pick both players. I'm going to take Missy Gannon and Silva Sarna with my first 2 picks.
Yep, that's exactly what I would have done. And why I didn't want the second pick, because second pick, you have to choose from those 3. Third pick, you get the left.
You get the last 2 and you move on.
Yeah,
and you don't even
turn your brain off. Take them.
I mean, you look at the trajectory for Silva, and I'm pretty sure I would have picked Holland if I was in Dan's spot. Just because again, I think on balance, Holland was, besides that patch of play where she was dealing with some personal issues and was burned out, was awesome. And she essentially acknowledged I need to take a little more time off at spots during the season. And I mean, Holland was the best player last year. Yeah. Straight up. So, and now there's no Kristen, who was the looming presence that Holland couldn't seem to grapple with totally. So now I think Holland is well positioned to dominate, but I'm certainly not sad to have Missy and Silva. And now Josh is going, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I knew that was going to happen. And I knew. I also, like Dan was talking about tiers. Gannon's on my draft board number 1. Holland Missy Silva was next. And I was like, if there's any chance, I was like, there's no way that's going to make it back to me. But
all right. So
that's right.
Back to Dan for the 5th pick.
I think this is where the draft really starts. This is where it gets interesting. Charlie didn't fumble. And I will say, I had Silva at the top when I was first draft of rankings, had the top.
Totally get it.
Saw that she was missing so much to start the year. That was what ticked her below Holland for me. But yeah, super excited about the year she can have. This is really tough. I'm now choosing from just a big bulk of MPO players who all feel very samey to me. They all feel like guys that can go out and win a handful of tournaments this year, get a bunch of top 10s. And I think I'm going to go with the guy that is criticized for being a little volatile, but I think has the highest ceiling. I think, I'm in it to win it. I don't care about finishing second. I think the way to beat Josh is take this guy and hope he has a year more reminiscent of his 2024 than his 2025 with a few more wins. I take Anthony Barella.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to say Ricky. When you're better 2024 than 2025, but the volatility didn't make sense to me either. Yeah, that makes sense with Barella.
Yeah, I need the high ceiling, I think, to try to compete with Gannon and just hope AB, hope that major win at the end of last year is a big boost for him this year. It gets a few more wins, avoid some of the really bad rounds. I also think a player that will be really benefited by the moving down of the -1 penalty to further down.
That's a great point.
The finishing stats. So,
I mean, you also can't count out AB takes another big step forward, right?
Yeah.
It's that ceiling you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, multiple win season last year, coming off a multiple win season the year before that. One of the highest podium percentage finishers on tour. I think it's there's not so many players that you could conceivably pick here, and this makes total sense, especially considering the trajectory.
Yeah.
Could you guys blunder a little bit more, please? Thank you.
Well, I don't. I think I'm gonna make. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
I think I'm gonna make a blunder.
I'm not.
Right on cue. Here comes the blunder, folks.
We'll see if this makes you happy, Charlie. There was one. So Charlie says I had to draft an FPO player here. There's only one FPO player I would have drafted here. I actually think that there's a clear break unless you expect a certain a different player to make a significant jump. There's only one FPO player left at this level that kind of matches up with the FPO players who have already gone. If she had been gone, I would have gone MPO again, because I really do think it drops off significantly from last season. However, Dan went MPO, so I get her. Give me the dog. I am so excited to get the dog here. Just because I love rooting for Own, and now I've got her on my team and I get to root for her more. I don't, we always say every year, we're like, this is the year, Own eventually has to regress, right? It's not, it just doesn't. It doesn't ever have to be the year until Own decides it's the year. So after Own, who scored 31 points, the next highest scoring FPO player that has not previously been drafted was Ella Hansen at 19. Drop off.
Yeah.
Cliff. So you have to expect someone like Ella, someone like Paige, someone like Cat Merch, for example, to make a big leap in terms of their performances here, which there's arguments to be had, but I'll take what I feel like is a little bit more of a sure thing in Own to be consistent and get at least in the high 20s.
It could look amazing. I mean, I certainly at this point don't expect a significant regression from Own because where is the regression going to come from?
Right.
I don't quite see it. It's not like they're. I mean, the argument is maybe these young players from Europe are going to come over and they're going to surpass her, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. I think it's not going to be in 2026.
It's also a question how much they tour,
right,
which is always scary.
Big
and
risk.
Own just Own is always on the road too. So
yep,
safe pick,
makes
safety
sense.
pick for sure.
Okay,
Is Own Father Time's first L?
Father Time was undefeated until confronted by the dog.
Yeah.
Could that be an
It's pretty amazing.
We're talking about merch.
It really is.
So it's Father Time, like an infinity symbol, and then one. And it's, Own is Father's Time first L. That's great.
Oh my god, I don't know what to do here.
It is your pick.
My pick.
I forgot. We were doing the
reversal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dan was about to get all snarky with you.
Well, no. I was thinking. I was like, I wonder what Josh is going to do with the second pick here. It makes a lot more sense that you went.
I actually, guys, I think the reversal is kind of dumb. I think we should just standard snake it.
This is just a little tricky. I mean, options. I don't want to say too much, I guess, but I'm not going to be making it anything. I'm not giving away anything here.
You don't want to blunder here, Charlie?
I think so. I kind of want to take Nicholas, who I think has real win upside. The problem is he doesn't podium that much, and he top 10s at a lower percentage than a lot of other strong players at this spot. So you're do you want to hope for the wins to be there again? And I just, his putting is a little swingy, which means that he doesn't perform quite as strong on a week-to-week basis as some other options. So then it's okay, do you want to take, Calvin, who I think he had the most top 10s last year. So he's just week in, week out getting you points and one of the highest average finishers, I think number 2 behind Gannon. Or you could take, Isaac Robinson, who maybe didn't have his absolute best season last year, yet still won a major. Or you could take Ricky, who's going to play a bazillion events and similarly finishes, up in that top 10 all the time. Or you could take Macbeth, who had a bit of a career renaissance last year and looks like he might be back. Mm-hmm. It is not easy to make a call here, but on balance, I think I want the certainty of points all the time. I think that's probably more valuable than somebody who you are kind of relying on wins from, or maybe major wins from. So I'm going to take Calvin Heimberg here in the third of my third overall pick.
Dang it. Dang you, Charlie.
I just think, he got the major monkey off the back. This ceiling is just unlimited still. I mean, he could be the best player behind Gannon. I mean, he could be the best player, period. He could have the best season. He's done it before. Not in the Gannon era, but like...
Now you're just talking yourself into it.
Listen.
It's in the realm of possibilities.
It really is.
Yeah, it's funny. Charlie hit every single player that I have in this current tier, and took the player that I have at the top of it. That's still remaining. So
I'm glad to ruin your draft a little bit. So
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I think that's a great pick. Calvin was huge for me last year. I also got him in the third round. I think he was my first MPO pick. Yeah, he was
the highest scoring MPO player after Gannon.
Yeah.
And that's because of that consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, top 10 every single week and week in, week out. And then obviously, had the major win, double points there. And I think that has to be the exciting thing for if you're taking Calvin, that like last year you think maybe was a sign of, it went into the Tour Championship as well. Oh, he's going to start showing up in the bigger tournaments for me as well.
The monkey's off the back.
Yeah. I love the Calvin pick there. I was really hoping he would fall to me. So now, again, I'm picking from that same bucket. All those names that Charlie mentioned are all in that bucket for me of guys that, feel capable of any given week winning a tournament, but probably aren't going to win more than 2 or 3, you wouldn't think. So again, I think it's like finding the guy in that group who's going to most consistently be in the top 10, try to fill those Calvin points for me. It's really tough. I don't have a crystal ball to know, and any of them really feel more or less equally as likely. He did well for me last year, and felt a little disappointing. So I think the upside is a little more obvious. It's hard for me to buy that Paul is going to replicate last year or do better than last year, which is really what I would be looking for in this spot. So I'm going to lean just ever slightly to taking Isaac Robinson here and hope that he gets that first non-major win, and maybe more consistently podiums this year. I think very, very much in the realm of possibilities for him.
He does have, I don't know if you were talking historical, he does have one non-major win, I think, because he won Idlewild.
True.
Oh, you're right.
Clearback, yeah, that was his one. And then he's only won majors.
Yeah.
He had to do it once just to show that he could, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, a few more times, Isaac. Come on, let's go.
That's right. That's who I think was the next pick too. I feel like this has followed exactly the kind of like
script
board I set up.
We're all using each other's boards.
I think that leaves 3 MPO players in a group together.
You get 2 in a row here, Josh.
I do have 2 in a row here.
No, you don't. I'm sorry. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I do. I do. We're back to normal state now. Yeah.
Let's just keep reversing so Josh every time we're out.
Yeah. I know Gannon's good, but like
that might be our only chance, yeah.
I'm just so nervous about Macbeth, especially since he's having another kid. Like,
I didn't want to say it, but now you've said it, so now we can talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, is he going to take some time off tour? He probably he could just come back and play the exact same. I don't know, but like that newborn drain is like just fatigue is so real, and so that's just a question mark for me. And so I'm going to take the guys who I think are a little bit less of a question mark. And I'm actually going to pull them both out of that bucket, and I'm going to go double MPO here. I am going to take Ricky Wysocki and Nicholas Antelo.
Makes a lot of sense for all the reasons we've already laid out.
Yeah. The only thing I think is like I don't think there's any issues with the MPO picks themselves. I think the decision that might come back to cause me problems is the choice not to take FPO here. And not be as balanced. Yeah, that's what might come back to bite me. But I saw looking at Charlie's board last season, Charlie got decimated down the MPO draft after
it was
Gannon.
horrendous.
For reference, everybody, scoring 0 points outside of Gannon Buhr.
That was so
He had
brutal.
5 players outside Gannon, net 0. I don't think you can overcome that, and so I think I'd rather be a little bit MPO heavy and hope for that the difference in FPO after the levels that we've picked kind of are okay for me. So.
I think these two complement each other really well as well.
Yeah.
Nicolas, he was like very much all or nothing last year. And granted, he wasn't getting you negative points a whole lot, but it was basically win or 0.
Yeah.
Rick, I think it's very much in the realm of possibility that Rick gets a couple wins this year. For Josh, is this your last year that he has to win a major?
I got 2 more years.
2 more years. Okay.
Yeah.
But that obviously would be huge and feels very possible.
No.
Let's go. Let's go.
I would rather lose this draft harder than Charlie did last year than Ricky win a major. Let me be perfectly clear.
True. I mean, there's no money on the line here.
I was about to say, unless you're going to fly me somewhere and buy me a nice dinner, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid. Point remains, though. Rick is going to give you most weeks going to give you a point. Probably some podiums, and if Nicolas can get you those wins, I think that's the big question, though. Does Nicolas still bring the wins this year? He had 3 or 4 last year?
He had 3.
Dude, when he's locked, he's unbelievable.
So yeah. All right. This leaves me with an interesting choice. And I really I don't feel great about any of my options here. My worry, and Josh kind of touched on this, I think with the way we draft, you do really want to lean into your strength, whatever your strength ends up being early. So for Charlie, that would be going FPO again, at least once with one of these next 2 picks. That was what I did last year, and it ended up being the reason I won at the end of the day. So I don't want to be left with, I won't say the dregs because, we're only taking 12 FPO players. But I don't want to be left, scraping the bottom of the pickable player barrel when it comes to FPO. So I'm going to take my number 1 favorite player, forever and always, and hope that she's a little bit better this year than she was last year. It's our first year where we didn't see her kind of trajectory continue to increase year in, year out. I'm going to take Ella Hansen.
Hold on a minute. Didn't Ella get her first career win and set the record for the highest round rating of all time?
She won before last year, right?
Yeah.
She had won before last year.
Oh,
right?
She did before last year? I thought Supreme Flight Open was her first win.
I don't think so.
I feel like she won in 2024. I could be wrong.
I'm going to go looking.
Anyway, point, though,
carry on.
No, she won OTB in 2024.
That's right. Yeah. You're right.
She did shoot the best round ever, which was awesome.
That was epic, dude. And
that was
but cool. It still very much felt like, every year before that year, it felt like there's clear, oh yeah, Ella is better than she was last year.
Yeah, no.
And despite that awesome round and everything else, it didn't feel like she was better. I don't think she was necessarily, worse than the year before, not, glaringly anyway. But again, I think she was kind of suffering from the drain of the length of the season. We didn't see her finish super strong. I'm hoping some of the breaks in between are a little bit better for her. If she takes any kind of jump in consistency and putting, she does become a player that can win week in, week out. I think the upside is very much there. And I mean, just for the personal reasons, I was saying to Charlie that, this draft is big for me because it kind of picks who I'm rooting for at the end of the year. And I would be remiss if I can't, wholeheartedly root for Ella every single tournament. My big claim to fame in the disc golf world is that Charlie was there as well. We got to play Ella's first ever real disc golf round with her. So feels very cool. Rooting for Ella every single time she's out there. So for that reason alone, I think it kind of has
ceiling is crazy. I mean, I've learned the hard way that you can't really rely on people to improve their putting meaningfully in their career.
Yeah.
It seems to be stickier than you would expect. And that's the problem for Ella, right? I mean, it's the tee to green is not in question. But the putting is a little sketchy sometimes. But, I mean, it's a solid pick. I think she's going to score you points. I mean, she was behind the players we've already drafted, was the best scorer last year. So I think it makes a lot of sense. But I actually think it made a mistake here. I think you should have taken Paul, and I'm going to take him. I get a value pick here, I think, at Paul in the 4th round. Now, listen, is he going to miss some time for the baby? Probably. But I don't think it matters that much. Like, he's going to play most of the first half of the season.
Yep.
His skill level has risen back. Like, I think people conflate the birth of the child as being the issue with the actual issue. The actual issue was that he was hurt. He was playing through an injury, and nobody wanted to talk about that. And he's not hurt anymore, and he's now, I mean, after Gannon and Calvin, Isaac, and surprisingly, Kyle Klein, Macbeth was the highest average place finisher on tour last year at 10.85. Kyle Klein is an interesting one. I'm sure he's going to get drafted later because he was like all over the top 10 and not doing much else. But look, Macbeth, 13 top 10s, 5 podiums among the top, 2 wins among the top. I feel like it's an obvious pick.
Yeah, he was right there. They were the two that I was hemming and hawing between. I was real worried, like I said, about you loading into FPO and me just being, just having terrible FPO behind Holland. And as much as I like Holland, I don't think she's a guaranteed lock enough to just forego the rest of my FPO picks. So again, I think this is a spot where just like purely based on my spot in the draft order felt a little forced into it. But yeah, I'm not betting against Paul this year. I do think it's very much, I would bet on him to repeat last year. I think it's hard to predict doing much better than he did last year. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bet against him replicating it.
Josh, I believe it's back to you.
No,
it's you.
We just keep it the rest of the way.
We do?
Snake style.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just the early rounds that we
I didn't realize that. Okay, well, that's fantastic news for me.
We mess with one round and Charlie's brain just breaks.
Listen,
mine too.
I expected us to keep flipping it back, but that's totally fine.
Nope.
Okay.
While Charlie's doing reconnaissance, Charlie gave that nice long spiel about like learning that players can't figure out putting, and has continued to back Henna for a bounce back season or breakout season,
and look,
including drafting her last season, year after year after year.
Guaranteed, I will not pick her this year. And then now she will do awesome, and she'll like win 3 of them.
I might take her. I might take her in the last pick just because I have.
I swear to God, this is how it works with Evelyn and Henna. I write them off; they play great. I'm like, I'm so back. They're terrible. I don't know what to do. The problem right now is that FPO gets tricky. I feel like you have to project a little more.
100%.
It's like way less clear where to go. I mean, I actually really need to decide if I want to take an MPO player or if I want to pick up an FPO option here, because I don't get another pick for a while. So it could really get bleak for me if I don't take FPO here. And it's not like there's like a super slam dunk MPO pick at this point. I'm going to take Paige Pierce. Yeah. Last pick of the draft last year, I believe. Ended up being, I think, the next highest scorer after Ella Hansen. And let's be honest, Paige looked pretty good at the end of last season. She just looks like she's regained confidence and form. I don't need Paige to be a top, 3 player for this to be a good pick. I think that it's very possible that she will finish right about here, right? Like 6th, 7th, something like that on tour. And that'll be fine. This makes life really hard for Josh specifically, because he only has one FPO right now, and now he's going to have to start thinking real hard about what's going to happen. So I'm happy to have. I mean, taking Paul and Paige, it does feel like I'm a little uncomfortable about it, but at the same time, it's not like it was like, oh, they played good for 2 events last year. It was like consistently improved back towards their level, and that makes me feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, this is right around where I had Paige going. There's also something kind of romantic about taking Paul and Paige in one.
It feels
in one
great.
Go around, you know? Yeah, it just feels good.
I mean, and now my FPO team is Missy Silva Paige. I feel nice about that.
Pretty good FPO team.
Yeah, you got to like that. So, Charlie, if I had taken Paul, would you have gone Ella Page or would you have gone with an MPO?
I probably would have taken one of the 2 of them.
Okay.
Probably.
All right. That feels bad. That feels bad. All right. I was definitely leaning MPO here until Charlie said that Josh Lena is one FPO player. So do I try to just really just handicap Josh on the FPO side? But I don't know. I don't know if there's a player I really like here. I think it's hurting my own team more to do that, unfortunately. So I am going to go MPO, and I'm going to keep the brothers together on one team because I kind of like that as well. So I'm going to take Ezra Robinson. Who again just feels like another player who the upside of improvement from last year feels very much there. We saw him get the win.
He's a candidate for a step up this season. I totally agree. I strongly consider taking him instead of Paige.
Yeah, the upside is very, very real. And again, I think I kind of have to roll for upside at MPO just to try to hang with Gannon. I'd love to see some more consistency with him, but again, he feels like another one who will benefit from the -1 penalty becoming a less frequent punishment against him.
All right, Josh.
I mean, I really didn't expect any hope that Paul would make it back to me, but I'm thrilled with where I get to go next. Really am. Like both MPO and FPO. I think that there are 2 players outside of these 2. I think it gets very complicated, but I think that there are 2 players that are just, in my opinion, the next clear picks that make it life really easy for me. I'm shocked at the overlook of Evelina, who scored 18 points, is going to get the benefit of the reduced penalty, and is only 1 year removed from winning a world championship. I'm very happy to get Evelina here, who I think could have I don't expect any, like, I think we know what Evelina is. Gets a couple more wins, skyrockets in points, but I don't think she's going to do any worse than she did last year.
I think my concern about Evelina is putting deteriorated last year pretty noticeably at the end of the year, and plays way fewer events than a lot of other players.
It's absolutely true. But to that point, like, we know she won a major last season.
I hear you.
And we know that about her.
I know.
Right? Like,
I know.
So
I mean, it's a volatility pick. It is. She was obviously going to get drafted. So
yeah, I'm happy to draft her here. I was worried that's who Dan would take, and then I really
she if I went FPO, she was definitely who I was going to take.
Yeah, then I'm just in the pits of despair. I don't know what I'd do. This feels like a saving pick for my draft.
The only pushback I would say is I maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm harsh, but it doesn't feel like you can count on her being as good as she was last year. I think she's just the peak of volatility, and would anyone, like, if she doesn't get the wins next year, like if she doesn't win a major next year,
you're really in a bad spot.
Way down, way down.
That's absolutely right.
And is anyone going to say, like, I think odds are Evelina wins a major this year? I'm not confident saying that.
Sure.
Now, I don't think she'll be a weight pulling your team down necessarily, but I think there is a very real chance that like 2 or 3 players that get picked out.
The backsliding with the putting is what scares me, you know?
Yeah. I will say, though, to that point there, Dan, you said players behind her. I don't see players behind her that I go, oh, yes, there's value there.
True,
right?
Yeah. It's not a lock.
But there's upside to Evelina. I'm not sure I see upside outside of Evelina, and that's why I was like, oh, boy. Like, you're right. Maybe she does slide a bit, but...
For what it's worth, I do think you still score 5 to 10 points with Evelina, even if the putting is brutal.
Yeah. So
that's true. She won't be a disaster.
And I have a chance at scoring, like...
Good point.
There's a world where Evelina scores 30.
Good point.
And And so the fact that there is still upside available with somebody who will get me some points is honestly feels like a just saving draft saving availability for me. Now having Holland and Ella already, that makes sense why Dan doesn't, you wouldn't want to be like, oh no, I need Evelina in the same way that I do. Next MPO player that I really feel like, I mean, I like the Ezra pick. I'm really happy about the Kyle Klein availability, though. I am really happy about the Kyle Klein availability. I was prepared to do Ezra instead. Like, Kyle Klein had a down year last year relative to his standards and still scored 12 points and is going to drop 2 penalty points and would have scored 2 additional points with our top 12 now. And so, I mean, we're talking 16 points right there on his down year. And Kyle Klein's like he's consistent. And that's like, there are points there with upside that was not realized last season. Multiple second place, 3 second place finishes that all could have been close to a win, at which point Kyle Klein might look like we might look back and be like, oh, this was the value pick of the draft.
Keep telling yourself that, Josh.
I will.
Listen, the Kyle is going to get you points. Will he get you wins?
Kyle.
The Kyle.
Is that his nickname? The Kyle. Yeah. Is he the Kyle now?
Officially. I mean,
I like that.
I will say this. Depending on, if you're doing your own drafts, folks, you pay attention to your scoring criteria, because Kyle Klein is somebody who's easy to overlook because he was not, he didn't feel like he was like on coverage a lot last year. He didn't get a win. He only had 3 podiums, but like the consistency was really there. And for me, seeing somebody with a, 4th on tour average place finish suggests that the wins could come. That it's like a little bit more randomness causing issues.
We've seen it from Kyle.
Yeah, we sure have.
Oh, yeah. At this point in the draft, though, like, what more could you ask for than guaranteed points with possibilities of wins?
Right.
Yeah, no, it's a great pick. He was the last player in a tier for me.
Yeah.
So, again, that's draft board just falling really well for Josh's draft placement.
Yeah.
All right. I actually think this is where the draft starts. I think we've reached... It's basically we're at the midway point.
Well, this is where the darts start.
Well, right, but this is where like you win and lose. Like this is why I lost last year, is because I got so cooked after this point in the draft.
Gosh,
I don't know that.
Okay, whatever. I don't want
to. What round did you take Evan Smith and Nico McMahon again?
Ooh boy. This honestly is really tough. Just looking at Josh's team right now, and we did just pass the halfway point. Gannon, Ricky, Nicholas, and Kyle, his MPO, and then Owen and Evelina, and FPO. I think Charlie and I at this point are really just hoping that Owen does fall off this year.
Yeah.
And Evelina has, bad Evelina year. Because the MPO team feels near insurmountable at this point. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm falling into this trap of just having to take high-risk players just to try to possibly outscore Josh. But at this point, kind of everyone feels high-risk, right? Like, I do think the safe guys are gone, and gals. I think I have a sneaky FPO pick that I can get next round that Charlie won't take from me. I'm hoping. And so I'm going to take the guy that I like the most of my next MPO tier, even though I think probably I could get him later too. At this point, it's like take your guy stage of the draft, right? So I'm going to take a guy that showed some real upside last year, had his best year of his career, didn't get a win, but I think showed flashes that he could get a win this year. And I really like the consistent trajectory. I'm going to take Sullivan Tipton here.
Oh, wow.
Who's a player I picked up. I did have him on my team after I picked him up in the second half of the season. Played really well at some of the majors last year. Really just like his upside as a top 10 guy week in, week out. I'm not saying this is going to be a guy that's like you're seeing to win every single week. That feels extremely unlikely. But I do think the world where he just becomes one of those guys, like a Kyle Klein last year, who just like, oh, look at that. Sullivan Tipton got another top 12. Look at that. Got another top 12. That feels very much in his realm of possibility this year.
I think we could look back on this and see it in totally different light. Like, it could be like, oops, that was not a good pick. Or it could be like, wow, that was the best pick of the draft value-wise. He really has been getting better. I think you could have gotten him a round or two later, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but again, I feel like that's probably true for most of the people that are on the board.
I hear you. All right, well, I'm doing it. I'm taking somebody who proclaimed himself the number 2 thrower on tour on this podcast.
I was wondering if this is where he goes for Charlie.
I'm taking Aaron Gossage. Listen.
It feels like a very Charlie pick, doesn't it?
Oh boy, does it.
You get a guy in the pod, he gets all
no.
misty-eyed.
I'm not getting misty-eyed. I understand the risks here.
We're getting Gossage Henna back to back right here.
One of the things that I do is I look at Circle 1 and regulation percentage as the number 1 bellwether for your potential. It remains true. Like, and when you are number 2 only to Gannon Buhr in this category, I am almost certainly going to give you a very serious look. And what Gossage said is true. Now, there's the MVP switch risk. I get that. But he went out at Memorial and shot 1 off of Gannon. Now, you can be like, oh, whatever, it's Memorial. I get it. The thing is, the throwing is not a problem with the new discs, which is using a Memorial, right? So, like, okay, we're in pretty good shape there. The putting for Aaron Gossage was significantly better in the second half of last year. If you look at his season stats, they're ugly, because the beginning of his season was horrendous. But he truly did play better at the end of the season. And when you look at his results down the stretch of the year, he had those top 5s, he podiums at the Tour Championship, second at Worlds. Like, the ceiling is so obvious. Now, I have been burned so many times by taking players who have putting issues that I think maybe this is the year they resolve them. But, like, genuinely, the sample is big enough down the stretch of the season that I feel like it really can't get a whole lot worse. And it's not like he's going to be a disaster. Did somebody take him last year? Surely he was on the board at some point, right?
No.
Nobody ended up taking him.
No one picked him.
What was his score last year, I wonder? If we scored it out, I mean,
I don't think
because he's going to get
a lot of negatives.
He's going to get
how harsh the -1 was.
4 points from Worlds. I mean, top 32s. How many times did he miss? 1, 2, 3. I think
3.
That's not that bad.
Yeah. That's not as bad as I was.
So,
well, to your point, Dan, he had 3 31sts.
Oh, okay.
Like
right
3 31st and a 32nd. So in my mind, those were all negatives as well. But
in your mind, you're not. That's just not true. In your mind is wrong. Your mind is lying.
It is wrong. It is
the
wrong.
line is going lower this year. So
no, I completely agree. That's it. This is a better pick. I'm saying this is a better pick than I was thinking.
Yes,
I'm giving you credit here, Charlie.
As you make up something in your head about negative points.
I was with Dan that I would have expected Aaron Gossage to have had more negatives last season.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It felt like it.
I mean, and I understand this is a high risk pick, but this is another one where we could go, it was right in front of us. Like, this dude is playing some of his best disc golf at the biggest events of the year. And I know we've gone on ad nauseum about what happened at the Tour Championship. Like, to some extent, he got unlucky to lose that tournament. To some extent. Now, you know, if he doesn't slip on the tee pad, like, he might just walk it in.
It's true.
I'm just saying. I feel like he has been the guy that is closest to breaking through and getting wins for over a year now. So
that's definitely true.
I'm happy to have a player of this caliber at this point in the draft. Somebody who profiles, you know, it's like a marginal improvement. Remember when Evelina marginally improved her putting? She won like 2 majors and 6 tournaments or something crazy like that. Like, she won Worlds despite putting badly because it was just marginal improvement was enough. And I think the same thing could be true for Aaron Gossage.
Well, Josh, let me ask you about the Goose pick.
Yeah.
Because, Charlie obviously gave us the bull case for Goose. What do you think is more likely, that he does take that next step, or that he doesn't? And I won't say necessarily struggles, because I do think that, like, even with the switch and bag, his floor is probably pretty similar to what it's been.
I think what I expect is, like, Goose gets a win and everything else looks the same. I don't see a win, and maybe I'm wrong, especially given, like, how close he's been, and like, maybe it is a thing of, like, getting over the hump could be a big difference maker for him. To me, it feels like one of his podiums turns into a win, and then he looks the exact same elsewhere, which is still probably double-digit points. So not a bad pick. I don't expect him to, like, skyrocket up the board,
right?
Because the next step to me would be, like, him competing with the likes of Niklas, right? Like, that's like getting multiple wins, even having a little bit of an inconsistencies, and maybe, but multiple wins with some podiums to boot. Like, that's next step for me to Gossage. But I mean, just a win would be a big boon for Gossage.
Yeah, I think a win would have been guaranteed if Charlie hadn't picked him. I think Charlie picking him basically was the death knell. He's having a good season. Unfortunately, nothing against Charlie. He's a curse. Picking him's a curse. So sorry,
Heisenberg's uncertainty principle strikes again.
Evan Smith can blame his career progression
100%.
on Charlie.
Evan would have 2 wins
fan.
last year.
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm going to let you guys figure out which European FPO player is going to, pop off and play enough tournaments. I'm done with my FPO. I'm taking Cadence Burge.
Don't do it.
I'm shocked she went this low. Good luck, everybody.
that's who you were going to take next, weren't you, Dan?
No,
No,
it wasn't. No, I have someone else. I have someone else that I like more.
I'm curious to hear who.
I'm concerned.
Let me talk about it, because I was like, I got to do some reconnaissance. This is reconnaissance I did. I hear what you're saying, because she comes out at the beginning of last season and is, like, on fire, and you're like, wow, she's doing awesome. And then it felt like she dropped off, which she did. She totally did. She went 26th at Ledgestone, 19th at Idlewild, 14th at D-Glow, 24th at GMC, and you're like, uh-oh, like, maybe Cadence isn't it. Well, but then what did she do, folks? 9th MVP, 6th throw pink, 8th tour championship. Okay?
Interesting.
She's
Those
fine.
don't show on this.
She's fine. And this is the premier up-and-coming player. I think she's the, like, 6th highest rated player in the world right now. Kristen's still number 1. Missy, Holland, Silva, Evelina, Owen, Haley King, Paige Pierce, Cadence Burge.
Next available.
my FPO are all in the top 7 most highest rated players. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You guys figure it out.
My concern is the second half.
Ida Amelia Ness. Whatever. You guys figure it out.
So I don't have to go to Europe for my FPO pick.
I know who you're going to take. I wanted to take this sneaky pick, but I had to do the right thing. I'm sad that I don't get to root for this player, but I know what you're going to do. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the upside for Cadence is obvious. So especially, Charlie, with, like, how safe your FPO is, I think taking the role of just, like, getting the next player that becomes a top 5 lock is very obvious for your team. But yeah, like, I really wanted the win when she got the win to be her taking off point, and, like, really solidified, and just it felt like everything kind of slid back from that point. And you're right, she did finish a little bit better, but not what I was hoping for after she got the win. I'm going to take a player who just was kind of off my own radar until I was looking at the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings from last year. Like, wait a minute, this player finished 8th in the pro standings last year. Look at her results from the end of the year. She got a win. She had just, like, a big old streak of top 10s. And it felt like after some time out with injury and time affected by injury that she's maybe getting to that point where we see the upside we saw earlier in her career. I'm going to take Val Mondahano here.
This is definitely not who I thought you were going to take. But
really?
No, this is the right pick. I am devastated right now.
I'm wondering who Charlie thought I was going to take.
I think I'm going to take who Charlie thought you were going to take.
I'll say when the pick comes.
Yeah. Oh, damn. You just, like... I seriously, I was like, this can't get any better for me. This draft cannot go better. It really cannot.
Yeah.
That's a great pick. I mean, people forget about the ankle.
Yeah.
It's true.
And
People
that
do
is,
forget.
like her to finish out the season 1st, 3rd, 14th, 24th, 8th. I mean, that is a lot of points
5th.
right there.
Throw pink.
They throw pink. I don't have that in front of me.
9th
So yeah.
tour championship.
Yeah. I thought she was gonna fall to me.
Yeah, I would have liked for her to fall around later, but with where your team was, I couldn't take the risk.
You weren't
were
getting her.
gonna
I
take her.
promise
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Anything earlier to me would have felt like a reach.
Mm-hmm.
Like I because I just don't know. But I mean, Val was phenomenal 2 seasons ago to start the season as well. Like, I think that's just such a good pick. I was like, there's no way Val's gonna get to me, and then Charlie picked Cadence. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's a chance, and then there isn't a chance. All right.
I'm sorry about that, Joe.
That's all right.
If you hadn't taken Kyle Klein,
I'm surprised. I feel like you guys are you were more leaning towards taking Val than Cadence Burge. I don't think that's smart.
I
don't think that's smart.
Me too.
Last year we're talking about Cadence, and we're like, oh, she's too young, and she's not ready, and then she plays like she did last year. Tell me why she's not going to get more better this year.
I'm not saying she couldn't.
All right, let's see what happens.
I'm not saying she couldn't. The upside is definitely better.
I'm not knocking the Mondahano pick, to be clear.
Sounds like you hate Val Mondahano, Charlie. Sounds like you have a personal
It sounds like
vendetta.
you guys extrapolated from 4 bad tournaments. Continue.
We'll see. I'm with Dan on this one. I really, really, really like the Val pick. Man, she's gotten wins in 2 of the past 3 seasons. Yeah, I'm jealous. I like that pick a lot. Okay, well, I think there's only one FPO player that's like you gotta just take this one next. Which to me, and when Dan was like, oh, she had a sneaky good season, she was kind of off my radar. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna pick this person instead. It's Cat Merch.
Wow, no, you guys still haven't taken who I thought you were gonna take.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
He's on henna again. No, actually, I think I 100% know who he's talking about.
Okay. I mean, Cat Merch, Val, and Cadence Burge all finished right at the same level. It was literally 7, 8, 9 in terms of the Pro Tour standings. And the way our scoring works, Cat Merch actually would have gotten a lot of points. It wasn't as flashy as previous seasons, but would have still would get points. Like, she doesn't suffer from the 10 to 8 jump as much as some of the other players might. Still scored 10 points last season for Charlie, and I think is likely to do at least that, if not more. And last season I think was quieter than previous seasons from her. She also is going to benefit from the cash line switch, so I think she actually would gain points in our new format as opposed to losing any, which I'm very happy about right now. I don't know what in the world to do next. This is like, I knew I was going to get one of those 3 FPO players, and so that pick was kind of, oh wait, yes I do. I know exactly where to go next. That's a lie. I have it next. I'm taking Adam Hammis next. Bro got 2 wins last season. And very, very big benefactor of the change to the negative rule. Killed Charlie in negative points, but is going to have, I think, a good bounce back. And I'm very happy to have here this late.
Good luck with Adam Hammis on your team. I feel like it's completely unfair that he was a -5 for me, but at the end of the day, he was a -5.
It's completely unfair.
He was a late pickup. No one drafted him. So
is that true?
We all missed his great start to the year.
Yes, that's what it was.
So the -5 was the -5 for that slot. And
that's
he had a much cooler.
That makes so much more sense. But still, he was a -3 while he was on my team.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's gonna. Yeah, he is like
his great start was what carried him last year. He did not finish the season great,
and he is like the poster boy for why our scoring needed revamped.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
like honestly,
did he have a bunch of 40ths or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's a lot of his negative points were
very
there.
fair.
Yeah,
Hammis is not missing cash that often.
Right,
his bad finishes are still inside cash. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to get Hammis here.
Yeah, James is a nice pick. He just, man, again, this is like a draft of basically who am I rooting for the year, and he's just a tough guy to root for, man.
Fair.
He makes it tough. I think just pure pick wise, though, he was definitely an oversight by us last year.
Oh yeah,
and at this point in the draft, feels like I think this feels appropriate for where he should go. Like I don't think he should have gone much higher than this.
Yeah.
But it does feel like a clear step up in value over like who's left on the board.
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna go with a guy that was another second half of the season pickup for me. It wasn't as strong as I'd hoped he would be when I picked him up. I picked him up for what I hoped would be a strong conclusion to the European swing. And he did okay, but not great. I can't remember. I did check and see how many tournaments he signed up for. It does look like he is going to be playing some in the U.S. And has shown as much upside as just about any player in the division, other than Gannon Buhr, really. Can win at any given tournament when he's there. And if he doesn't play, then he's not costing me points. You know, I know that's less of a risk this year anyway. But a guy that can get me some wins and I think can like really dominate in the European swing. I'm going to take Lauri Lehtinen.
An Upshot staple, a guy that I feel like people do not talk about enough.
Agreed.
He's good. He's a really good player. He's in the 1040 club. He's not playing until Champions Cup, though. I don't know. It's you're asking a lot.
Yeah. I mean, again, if I can just get a boatload of points in Europe, that's kind of what I'm swinging for.
I just don't know that there's a boatload of points to be had in Europe this season is the thing.
No. Yeah, well, we don't have the double majors, obviously.
We have the one major, and then I think it's 3 events after that, and that's it. That's the opportunity for scoring over there. I definitely agree about trying to think about the European options and just be like, is there some value to be found? But it's just so hard when they skip the beginning of the season, and you can't necessarily count on them to play more than 10 events.
I will be honest. I was looking at Lowry as a waiver pickup and trying to snag him before the European swing
move
to get the European swing.
Hey,
plus.
we didn't establish when our waiver will be.
Oh, that's true. Last year we did it right before the European Open, which I liked as timing.
How does that fit into this season? Because we won't have the Euro events beforehand. Like the back of the season is heavy, I think, because U.S. Women's is after European Open.
So I propose the waiver happens after Heinola. So at the end of the European swing. There you go, Dan. You can get Lowry. You can get Lowry. I mean, he does come for the playoffs, so you got to decide there.
The end of the European
get your 4 tournaments
swing.
And then drop that boy.
Yeah, it feels like if we do it earlier, it's a little too early.
Okay.
So they'll have played 2 majors, and then the rest of the majors will be in the second half of the season. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, after Heinola?
Sounds good.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Okay. I've been sitting here looking at this, and it doesn't make it any easier, guys. I'm not going to lie to you.
I know. It's tough.
I'm taking Cole Redalin.
Yeah.
Upside crazy. Somebody who's been coming off an injury as well. Started to show us what he was capable of when he was kind of on that previous trajectory. Got a win, multiple podiums, didn't miss cash much. I feel like upside is really high too. Like Cole could be somebody that we are like, oh, whoa. Like he could have a Kyle Klein type of, jump up in success. Super talented. I mean, crazy talented. And like you feel a little uncomfortable about it because he did, he was up and down for sure. But the back half of his season was so strong. I mean, besides he didn't play great at USDGC, but 3rd Idlewild, 3rd GMC, wins MVP, and has played good like in the fall too. So I feel like I can count on some points, and the fact that it seems like hopefully the injury stuff's behind him, that he can start to achieve at the level he's capable of week after week. I get a second pick here, and then I'll let you guys react. This is where I feel like I'm just like kind of throwing a dart. I mean, I'm a little worried about what to do here. I'm going to take Ezra Aderhold.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. You said good luck with the Adam Hammis pick and just picked Ezra Aderhold? Let me make sure both of those things happened in the same draft. Hold on.
Well, Josh, this is 3 whole picks later. You got to understand.
I get it.
God.
I get it. But one of the highest rated players still left on the board.
Yep. You might get wins out of it again.
Not that many missed caches, honestly. You'd be surprised. He missed 32 a lot, but it didn't miss cache that much.
Okay.
I know he had those swings. There's no question about that.
That was like the talk of last season. Is we don't pick Ezra.
Unpickable Ezra Aderhold.
Listen, I don't know what else. Like, look at the board. It's not.
Oh no, I don't disagree.
It's
with
hard.
You.
I think it's a good pick. I think it's a good pick.
I found the commentary on Hammis.
It can't go worse for me than last year's back end MPO picks. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're just at that spot in the draft. I will say it's become a little difficult for me to like shift my strategy for this back end, because last year it felt just so much like just avoid the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
But this should be so much more difficult for the players to get the negatives. So like I do think it makes a lot more sense to like swing for those guys that you see as people that can
get you some points.
Yeah, and just if they finish 48th, it isn't going to hurt you like it did last year at most tournaments, or the bigger tournaments. So yeah, getting a guy that like has demonstrably won, at this level, it feels pretty good at this stage.
Yeah, demonstrably won.
Demonstrably won.
Not just one. Demonstrably won.
That honestly, that was like one of the highlights of the season.
Ezra's win last year.
Yeah. Well, Ezra and Cadence the same event, right?
Right.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. Tough to see if does Ezra jump to that stage of consistency or not. That's got to be the next thing for him. I'm in a tough spot here because Josh and I both need one MPO, FPO. So, like, which one is more important to get the pick for? It's tough to say. I want to go with a real quiet guy. I just as someone who just said that it's important to get guys who maybe can win here. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm the guy that I don't think is going to win. But I do think he's good. I do think he's good for a handful of top 10s. I do think he's good for a handful of top 12s. Are there any people left?
No, there's no obvious. There's no obvious.
So, right?
There's no obvious picks here, of course.
So I'm gonna take.
I understand.
This is probably a guy that you guys wouldn't take, but he kind of quietly had like a nice little season last year. Had some top 10s at majors, I believe.
Are you running back on Jakub Semerad?
No, God, no. That was not good. I'm going Andrew Marwin.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. He was on my list of potentially pickable players. Okay. He's rock solid.
Yeah.
It's not going to give you like a ton, I don't think, but it's also not going to bomb you.
Yeah, I if he gets me like 4, 5, 6 points, like I'm not going to bank on any podiums, but give me a smattering of top 10s. Probably hardly ever going to miss cash. And if he gets a top 10 or 2 at a major, that's great.
Right.
There are 3 guys that I've been sitting here kind of bouncing around between. And I think I'm just going to straight up pick who had the most top 10s and hope, because all of them are going to lose me points as well at times. So I think it's really just pick the guy with the most top 10s, because they will minimize or give you the opportunity. Which and to be honest, is not the one I expected to pick out of these 3. I'm taking Silas Schultz.
Wow.
As my last MPO pick.
Wow.
I'm happy to talk afterwards. I'm gonna let Dan do his pick. And
you have another pick, my friend.
I do, but not MPO. Right. So I'm not going to talk about my other.
Okay, right. I got
ideas.
you.
I'll come back to that. But Silas is overlooked in the Pro Tour standings because he didn't go to Europe, or at least didn't do as much Europe. It looks like. And so, yeah, he did not go to Europe. So he missed out on all the points of Europe, but he had 10th at Music City, 5th at Preserve. That's what it is. There we go. 7th at Ledgestone, 7th at D-Glow. Pretty decent. Like that's some good finishes. So, and wasn't missing cash all too often. Would have gotten more negative points last season. So Silas is going to be my MPO pick. FPO, I don't know. Throw a dart. Like, I have a player that I think I'm going to take, and I took last season, and it didn't work out for me. So do I run it? You know what? No. You know, I'm gonna take advantage of the curse. Give me Hannah Blomroos.
Oh wow.
She's going to win 3 now. Now that she's not on Charlie's board.
I honestly am rooting for you, Josh. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I at this point, I don't know who to pick. I really don't.
I mean, Hannah scored me 8 points last year.
She did. Exactly.
It wasn't like it wasn't a disaster. And I think under the new scoring system, she's very unlikely to lose you a lot of points in the negatives.
Yeah. Yep. Boy, who would have thought that I was going to finish
the
draft?
fins.
I've literally got oh my gosh, guys! I literally have Charlie's FPO team from last season. I have Charlie's exact FPO team from last season. Charlie has mine. We flipped FPO.
No
teams.
way.
That's true.
How did that happen?
That's true.
It's just the spots. You guys switched
Flipped
spots.
spots, and we took the exact.
Well, let's
team.
take a look.
Except
Josh,
I actually know how to draft MPO, and so I'm going to win this.
Josh scored 101 points with his FPO team last year, and I scored 67. So good luck, Josh. That's crazy.
I will say the draft is different because Cadence was a midseason pick.
Yes, good point.
That's true. That's
you
true.
ended
You're
up
right.
with
You're right.
points
You're
for
right.
that.
You're right.
But that is the only deviation point.
That's
which is pretty
so
hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
And if Dan takes, he can have almost the same team as last year if he takes a particular player.
If I just take Kristen again?
Well, you
No.
can't take. Yes, please take Kristen. No, if you take Haley King,
a different
who is
FPO player
very
doesn't play any
reasonable to
events.
consider taking here.
At this point, yeah.
I mean, the thing about Haley King is every time she plays, she's going to score you points.
It's very true.
You just don't know how much she's
Top
going to
10
play.
Every time she played? Yeah, hardly ever. Well, I want to go back to the Silas Schultz pick. Josh tried to gloss over it real quick. I'm granted, I am surprised to see he had that many top 10s last year. But taking him over someone like Simon feels kind of crazy to me. Especially throwing a new bag will be very interesting for Silas. Just did not have him on my radar as a player to pick at all. Did you, Charlie?
I mean, I considered it, but he missed cash quite a few times. Bag switch, I like his upside. I just feel like there's more secure picks and even higher upside picks. Like, I don't know what you're hoping to get from Silas. I have a player in mind that I might take a flyer on.
I'm excited to hear this.
First, though, we got to go with my final FPO pick and my final pick overall.
Don't blow this. There's a right pick.
I'm pretty certain I know who you're talking about. And she is on my board. It's her and Haley King.
That's understandable.
Are the two that are on my board.
Yeah.
The tricky thing about this player is if I'm thinking the same person as Charlie. They finished last year really strong. In fact, I believe shot the best pure strokes round at the Tour Championship. Like if everyone started clean, she would have won. The problem for me with Sofia Donica is I really wanted to see her just go out and kick ass in the Down Under tournament, and she just didn't. She didn't get a single win. I think the best she did was like a distant second place, and if you look at the competition she was playing out there, that doesn't give you a whole lot of hope that she's going to pick up right where she left off last year and, give me some top eights, couple podiums early in the year. She's so cool and easy to root for, and I really want her to be good. I feel like you guys need to get her on the pod. Did you guys know that she's also like seemingly a nationally competitive like off-road bike racer or something? Have you guys seen this?
We had Sophia on the pod right after she like had a breakout tournament 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we did talk about the other sports she was into.
I wasn't remembering it,
but it doesn't totally ring a bell. So
she just seems like a badass.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, like, you know, is she not singularly focused competitively on being the best disc golfer she can be? That I don't know. But I just don't think I can take Haley here with how few tournaments she's going to be playing. Like, last year I think I could be safer with it with the rest of the team I had. I don't think I can. Second spot just felt like a real. I feel like it's really hampered my like swings for upside here. So I'm going to take Sophia and hope that, you know, we see more of what we saw at the end of the tour last season than we saw from her down under this year, and that she's not just like a second half of the season kind of player. The upside is very there, which is a great athlete. When she is playing well, she is absolutely a player that can podium. And in the most competitive tournaments, we saw that very much last year. So, you know, for just a total swing as the last FPO player taken, I do like the upside, but the risk feels a little higher than I would have liked. I would have liked to have my FPO wrapped up earlier, but just didn't really feel like the draft broke that way for me this year.
Charlie, is that the FPO player you were thinking of?
No.
I didn't think so.
Oh, really? Oh,
I think, well, so obviously they did not get picked. I think we all may wish we had. If I had decided to take I'm just going to punt on my last FPO pick till the end. This is probably it depends on who's on the board, but probably the player that I would have taken. Hannah Wynn. Wynn, coming off her best season ever, 958 rated, just shot close to 1,000 rated tournament at an A tier in Florida, beat second place by 21 strokes. I mean, I'm just saying, I think Hannah Wynn. The thing is, if you look at her last year, like, she's not scoring you a lot of points. Like, just not enough of those top eights. And she could have a great year and finish 9th every time, you know? And, like, you could end up being like, frustrated because it's just not enough points available from the upside. But I really think she's going to be a waiver wire candidate. I'm pretty sure.
She lost 4 tournaments to our scoring change that were 9th or 10th.
Right.
That she is not getting advantage now.
But I think she could step up into that next echelon.
You need a step up.
I could
you
see
have
it
to
happening.
have the level up. You have to have it.
I like the way she ended the year last year. She's, to me, just very promising as a player. Finished 6th at MVP Open, 9th at Throw Pink. Like,
do we know
signs are there. I don't know how old she is.
Like, I feel like she's been around a little longer than
she's been around. She's been playing. Like, she's a PGA member since 2018.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you're getting like the. Also interesting. None of us picked, I think for understandable reasons, any of these like phenom up and coming FPO European players.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just too risky from like a. If we knew the whole schedules for the year right now, maybe we make different decisions. But a little hard to. If there were more DGPT events in Europe, but there's one major and 3 tournaments.
Right, that's those two things together are just tough.
And the schedule this year is major, Pro Tour, and the last Pro Tour doesn't count for FPO.
Right.
So what that means is that those tournaments are going to be packed with all the American players. There's not that same advantage that the European players had when they were before, and all the U.S. players were still playing in America.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just noting that for the record,
because they're all bumping
when people
over
come
to the
for
US
us
women's.
in the inbox about not taking, Julia Fours or something.
Right. For reference, Hannah Wynn is going to be 30 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, if I had 1 or 2 more FPO picks, she would be on my team. I'm like sad I'm still going to be excited to see how she does, but
yeah.
Wait, Dan, who'd you take? We didn't write it down. I already forgot.
Sophia Dunn.
Sophia Dunn. I was thinking MPO for some reason. Okay. So I have one MPO pick remaining.
Yep.
And I can speak freely because there's nothing stopping me from doing that. So obviously, some guys that would be consideration here, Simon.
Yep.
I think you could still think about Chris Dickerson. Evan Smith actually was like pretty solid last Evan Smith. But it sounds like he's touring less, so like he's out for me.
Yeah, he's got to be out.
And then, I don't know. Ben Calloway won a tournament last year. That was the one player who won.
Isn't he?
He's
gone. Right, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So then, where do you go? Corey Ellis? Now, here's where I'm going to get sneaky. I'm going to say this name, and I'm going to think about it right now. Austin Turner.
He was on my list.
I am
He was on my radar
really...
as well.
I mean, he had some moments last year. He's now moved up onto a higher tier of sponsorship from Discraft. He's playing a lot of events. Super talented. And so I'm thinking about taking the chance. Now, if I look at his last year, I'm just trying to think about, like, based on 2025, would he have scored based on points? So he had a 9th and a 2nd and a 6th at USDGC. So there's the points. It's not a ton. Minuses at Ledgestone, Idlewild, D-Glow, GMC, MVP. I mean, like a pretty brutal stretch. So like we're talking about basically a net zero, close to it. I didn't fully do the math, but maybe a slight minus. But like, where else am I going? I guess Simon. Like, do I want Simon?
Did someone take Simon? Yeah, Dan got 4
points. Like, do I think I'm more likely to get points from Simon or from like taking a flyer on somebody like Austin Turner? And then there's like the random European guys who I could consider, like Rasmus Saukaripi. I looked a couple of these guys up. Most of them aren't playing till Champions Cup. It just kind of feels like that rules it out for me.
Again, an extended European tour? Yes.
Right.
Yes. Like, but only 4 events is just so brutal. Like, Lowry's the only one to me that is like, okay, Lowry is going to podium 4 times. And after that,
middle of last season, Austin Turner touched 1038 rated. Where's Simon at right now in rating? He's probably still, he's 1036. Like, they're very similar players in some ways. A little bit less missed cash from Simon, but also maybe just like not flashing the same upside lately. I don't know. This is not an easy decision in my opinion. I'm going to take the bird in the hand. I actually think my team puts me in a pretty good position to succeed. I'm going to take Simon. I mean,
That's
Simon
really
playing fewer events is actually maybe a benefit at this point in the draft. And obviously, we know we can go out and win at any time. And with 1 or 2 wins, and it's like he's an easy steal at 10.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I don't know if I expect Austin to level up to the point of winning.
That's the hard thing, right? Like, I know what I'm getting from Simon, which is that he will be like in the hunt for wins. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a couple of second place finishes last year. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I think
like
Simon's
more clearly going to score me points. I'm like asking Austin Turner to level up, and like, why am I believing that? I don't know.
Because I think
he seems like a good
part
candidate.
of the trap of this draft, right? Like you want to be the guy who nails the guy that no one expected, right? That's like a big part of it. But yeah, I think I would have gone Lazat or even Dickerson over Austin, because I think Chris is a player who benefits from this format as well. I think he loses a lot of his negatives and is good for a handful of top 12s throughout the year. So
Dickerson, not unreasonable pick for sure.
Yeah, I don't love my team. I got to be honest, boys.
let's lay out the teams really quick. Josh has Gannon Buhr. I'm going to just read the MPO and FPO in the order in which they were drafted. But this is not 1 to 10 necessarily. Gannon Buhr, Ricky Wysocki, Nicholas Antela, Kyle Klein, Adam Hammes, Silas Schultz. FPO Owen Scoggins, Evelina Salonen, Kat Merch, Henna Blomroos. Dan has Holland. Let me go MPO first. Dan has Anthony Barella, Isaac Robinson, Ezra Robinson, Sullivan Tipton, Lowry Lettinen, Andrew Marweed. And for FPO has Holland Handley, Ella Hansen, Valerie Mondahano, Sophia Dunica. I have Calvin Heimberg, Paul Macbeth, Aaron Gossage, Cole Radalin, Ezra Aderhold, Simon Lazat, and Missy Gannon, Silva Sarnen, Paige Pierce, and Cadence Burge. The thing I will note, Dan is asking a lot of a bunch of players. That's the problem for Dan's team, right? Like,
yeah,
you're asking, like, for the most part, Josh and I have players who have won events. I think the only players for Josh who haven't won are Silas and Henna. And for me, just Aaron Gossage.
Aaron. Yeah.
Dan is asking Sullivan Tipton, Lowry Lettinen, Andrew Marweed, Sophia Dunica to maybe become those players who can step up to that next level. Now, I think they're all really good players who could do that. It's just you're having to speculate a bit to see the results.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem for me is like a lot of the good back of draft players are just players I don't like very much, particularly on the MPO side. That I just like, Hamas, Cole Radalin are just guys like I don't really want a part of.
You got to set aside your feelings.
I know. But
facts over feelings, Dan.
If I were coming off a resounding victory from last year, maybe a little bit more desperate to just chase, points. But I also feel like in a lot of ways, like second was just a much worse spot to be this year than it was last year. Like last year I got Kristen Tatar. So, it felt very much like, oh, I'm just getting the other Gannon.
Right.
Which was true until she dropped, out of the competition.
And even then she still had tons of points. So
Yeah. She was still very strong. And I was also able to load up on FPO that way because, there was one more top FPO player for me to swing back around in the second round. I couldn't do that this year. So I had to be the first one to dive into that, like, just cluster of, like, 8 to 9 MPO players after Gannon, which just feels like a really bad spot. But yeah, I mean, it's very difficult for me to see a way to overcome Josh's team. I think he did a really good job of picking those safe MPO players behind Gannon until the Silas pick. The Silas pick was the Joey Buckets pick of last year. But I think at that point, it maybe doesn't even matter. We don't even. What if Gannon is just even better than he was last year?
Right.
Then the draft is just won in the first pick. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. But yeah, I won last year without having Gannon because my FPO was so strong. I just couldn't replicate that this year. So it's hard for me to see me, winning really. And yeah, I don't know. I get Josh feels like the favorite to me, then Charlie, then myself if I'm trying to rank objectively. But
Charlie's got that dominant FPO team from last year of the Missy Silva combo.
Yeah. I mean, the FPO is strong, but is it strong enough to overcome Gannon and Rick? I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, here's why.
What do you think?
What I will say is I feel really good about the back half of my draft. Mm-hmm. Like, my final 4 picks are Cadence Burge, Cole Radalin, Ezra Aderhold, Simon Lazat. I have to say, I feel like that's a lot stronger than what what you two were picking.
I definitely
those final 4.
The upside is higher. I think maybe a little bit more volatile as well. Like chance that you just get absolutely nothing from those players. Cadence probably is pretty safe to give you something, but
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think Gannon Rick is really, really powerful. I basically need. I need to get. I know I'm going to get plenty from Calvin. Like I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
He could be a 22-point player, or he could be a 40-point player.
You need him to match it. Like you need him to compete.
So I need exactly. I think if I want to win, well, no, the path for me to winning is FPO. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Like especially if I'm trying to compete with Josh, like me having Missy Silva and Josh's top 2 being Own Evelina. Like I definitely going to score more than Josh in FPO. It's just a question of how much more. I mean, it could come down to like how does Paige produce? How do Evelina and Henna play for Josh? If they have good seasons, we're probably toast.
Oh, wrap it up. Yeah. If Henna gets a win this season, like
I just don't see
put
it,
a bow
Josh.
on it.
I mean, it's been 5-6 years of putting brutality.
But Charlie, you walked away. And the last time that happened, Evelina was the best player behind Kristen.
The Charlie weight is off her shoulders.
That's right, exactly. You're discounting the curse right now, Charlie.
Somebody needs to edit the video of her horror putt at Worlds with just like Charlie, just like sitting piggyback on her shoulder or something.
Or put Charlie
just
on the basket.
my voiceover being like, "This is the year."
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna get someone. I need to get someone who's a video editor to make like a redemption video that's like, this is the year with all of Henna's bad putts, and then Charlie being like, I'm not doing it, and then just Henna just crushing tournament after tournament after tournament.
That would be sick.
That'd be a sick hype video.
Okay, I want to note some players who were drafted last year that didn't get taken this year. Okay.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Joey Buckets, Chris Dickerson, Evan Smith, Eagle, Gavin Rathbun, James Proctor, Jakub Semerad, Anakin Sten, Matty O, Haley King. That's a lot. Oh, and obviously Kristen.
Yeah,
that is a
That's
lot.
a lot. It shows you how much like.
Yeah, our backcaps to the draft were not good last year. But
I don't think
how much of that is just like,
I don't think we were like wrong at the time.
We were with some. I should have taken Jakub. Josh shouldn't have taken Joey Buckets when he did.
No, that was I mean, you all still let me have Paul Macbeth the next round, so I guess
that was crazy. Joey Buckets went ahead of Paul Macbeth. Wow.
I mean, I took I had Simon available. There just weren't. I don't know. The back half of MPO is like a little tricky last year. Like I took Evan Smith and Eagle McMahon 7 and 8, and then Proctor Orem 9, 10. I mean, it was just absolutely horrendous. Like I think I erred in taking a little too much FPO in the top half of my draft. Some of that was forced by the structure of the draft and where I was picking, but I picked Kyle Klein 4th, and he just didn't have a good season for me. That was painful. Like if I'd gotten more from Kyle, I probably would have been a lot closer.
And that's where I'm very excited because I've got the exact same FPO players that you do, but I took Owen in 2. I got Evelina down in the 5th round. I got Cat Merch in the 7th round, and I got Henna in the 10th round, which let me pick
much
up,
more value.
and Kyle Klein I got in the 6th round, right? So I'm getting like Ricky and Nicholas obviously are just a whole different compared to Kyle Klein.
The thing is, like, it feels like Ricky. I mean, Ricky's another one who you know is going to get you points, but he had the like down season from a points perspective.
He did. Yeah,
he only scored 20.
He didn't get
that
a win.
That was below Macbeth. That was below Barella. That was below Nicholas. That was below Isaac Robinson. Like, I do think it's going to come down to wins for pretty much like wins, especially wins at majors. Pretty much decide who wins.
Big deal.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let us know your thoughts. Yeah. Email us upshot@ultiworld.com. We'll be back for our waiver pickups and kind of check in where the season stands later in the summer, right after the European swing. And then, of course, we will wrap up everything at the end of the year. But that is our fantasy draft. Where did we get it right? Where did we get it wrong? Who did we overlook? Hannah Wynn. She's coming for those points, folks. I'm telling you. Dan, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I mean, genuinely look forward to this every single year. Always happy to be a part of it.
Any final thoughts on our draft? I think Josh has to be the favorite given the Gannon, Ricky, Nicholas trio at the top of MPO, but
yeah, I mean, my power rankings would be Josh, Charlie, then myself. Was really honestly just really hoping. I was doing like some mock drafts ahead. That's how much I I love drafting things. And I was like, please don't get the second pick. Please don't get the second pick. Lo and behold,
second is so hard this year.
What can you do? Yeah. I mean, I feel like we all felt pretty good about our drafts last year, and I don't know that it went how we would have thought. So the season always has twists and turns, especially kind of in that like 4th to 10th best player in each division. So I don't know. This is always my baseline for getting ready for the season, picking my players I'm going to root for. And I'm just ready for disc golf.
I know.
It's been cold and snowy and wet here. And, it's time for me to get back out there, start playing again.
It's officially next week. next week.
Yeah,
there's Frisbee.
it's awesome.
So
we are here.
Let's go.
It's awesome.
Thursday, we will be with our 2026 season preview episode. We're making some predictions as well. We'll be picking our major winners. And then next Tuesday, we've got our preseason mailbag. So email us with your thoughts about anything for the season to come, whatever's on your mind, upshot@ultiworld.com. We want to hear your mailbag questions. We will answer them next Tuesday. And then the 26th, we will be doing our Supreme Flight Open preview show. So going to be a ton of fun. Finally, the season is back. We're ready to roll. And then, hey, Overreaction's coming on March 3rd. So lock in for one of the most fun events, shows of the year. Dan Prentice was with us today. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We will talk to you Thursday right here on The Upshot.